chosen one, I need you to stop everything and focus completely on what I am about to tell you. Because something happened exactly 72 hours ago that you didn't even realize was happening. You were so exhausted, so overwhelmed, so depleted, that you didn't have the mental capacity to recognize it as a test. But it was. It was the final evaluation, the last exam, the ultimate assessment that determines whether a soul is ready to carry real spiritual authority, or whether they need to go back and repeat the preparation phase. And here is what you need to know. You passed, not barely passed, not passed by a narrow margin. You passed with such distinction, with such undeniable demonstration of transformed character, that the spiritual realm had to immediately convene what ancient texts call the Council of Elevation. As it is written in James 1:12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because when they have stood the test, they will receive the crown of life." And tonight, at exactly 3:33 in the morning, something is going to happen in dimensions you cannot see with physical eyes, but your soul will absolutely feel. Heaven is going to officially commission you, not symbolically, not metaphorically. Actually, literally, in the unseen realms where spiritual authority is granted, you are going to receive clearance to operate at a level you have been training for your entire life without knowing it. Now, before you think this is going to make your life suddenly easy, before you imagine that promotion means everything becomes smooth, let me stop you right there. What is about to happen tonight is not a reward for good behavior. It is a recognition that you can finally be trusted with greater responsibility. And greater responsibility always comes with greater challenge. But here is the difference. After tonight, you will face those challenges with access to spiritual resources you didn't have before. Wisdom that downloads instantly, discernment that operates automatically, peace that remains unshakable, authority that doesn't need to announce itself. That is what happens when heaven commissions someone. Not comfort, but capacity. Not ease, but empowerment. Not rest, but readiness. Let me tell you what that test was 3 days ago, because you need to understand what you actually passed. Between roughly 4 in the afternoon and 8 at night, something happened that pushed you past your breaking point. Maybe it was a conversation that went completely wrong. Maybe it was a situation that triggered every old wound you thought you had healed. Maybe it was a moment of such profound loneliness that you couldn't even cry anymore. Maybe it was a betrayal so unexpected that your mind couldn't process it. Maybe it was exhaustion so deep that you literally didn't have energy to think, only to react from pure instinct. Whatever it was for you specifically, it took you to a place where you were operating on autopilot, where you were too tired to perform, too broken to pretend, too depleted to calculate the right response. You were just being, without the energy to be anything other than what you truly are at your core. And in that moment, when no one was watching, when no one would have known, if you chose differently, when you had every justification in the world to respond with bitterness, with revenge, with selfishness, with cruelty, you didn't. Your automatic response, the one that came from your deepest essence when you were too exhausted to control it, was integrity. This echoes Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest, if we do not give up. Maybe someone attacked you verbally, and your instinct wasn't to attack back, but to stay silent. Maybe you had access to information that could have benefited you at someone else's expense, and you simply couldn't use it. Maybe you faced a choice between your comfort and someone else's well-being, and without even thinking about it, you chose their well-being. The specific situation doesn't matter. What matters is this: your goodness is no longer something you do. It is something you are. Your integrity is no longer a conscious choice you make when you have energy. It is your default setting, your automatic operating system, and that, chosen one. That is what heaven was waiting to see. Because, here is the truth, they don't teach you in religious settings. The spiritual realm doesn't care about your theology. It doesn't care how many scriptures you memorized. It doesn't care how many spiritual books you read, or how many hours you spent in prayer or meditation. What it cares about is this one question: who are you? When you don't have the energy to be anyone other than who you truly are. Who are you when the masks fall off because you are too tired to hold them up? Who are you when no one is watching and no one will ever know what you chose? That is the only question that matters, because that is the only thing that reveals whether your transformation is real or performed. And 3 days ago, in that moment of complete exhaustion, you answered that question. The answer was so clear, so undeniable, so confirmed that the observation deck in the spiritual realm, the place where assigned angels monitor human development, erupted. Not in applause, because that is a human thing, but in what can only be described as recognition. The kind of recognition that happens when someone finally becomes who they were always meant to be, when potential becomes reality, when preparation becomes readiness, when training becomes mastery. Take a deep breath here, because what I am about to explain will shift how you see the next 24 hours of your life. Let me explain what is going to happen at 3:33 this morning, and why that specific time matters. First, understand that time in the spiritual realm doesn't work the same way it works in physical reality. But there are certain moments where the veil between dimensions becomes thinner, where spiritual activity can penetrate physical reality more easily, where downloads can happen with less interference, and 3:33 in the morning is one of those moments. Here is why. Between 3 and 4 a.m., human consciousness is at its lowest activity level. Most people are in their deepest sleep. The collective mental chatter that normally fills the spiritual atmosphere is quieted. And in that quietness, in that stillness, the spiritual realm can work with precision. But 3:33 specifically carries additional significance in sacred mathematics, which is not superstition but pattern recognition across all wisdom traditions. The number 3 represents divine completeness: Father, Son, Spirit, birth, life, death, beginning, middle, end, past, present, future, mind, body, soul. It is the number of wholeness, and when you see it tripled, 333, it is a signal of completion upon completion upon completion, a cycle ending, a phase graduating, a level being cleared. That is why throughout history, major spiritual transitions often involve some variation of the number 3. Jesus was in the tomb 3 days. Jonah was in the whale 3 days. The Israelites journeyed 3 days before Passover. It is a pattern. And tonight at 3:33, your pattern completes. Here is what is actually going to happen. Your soul, while your conscious mind is asleep, is going to be brought before what ancient texts called the court of heaven. Not physically. Your body will still be in your bed, but dimensionally, spiritually, your soul is going to stand in a space where spiritual authority is granted. And 3 specific authorizations are going to be given to you. These aren't permissions you can use anywhere you want. These are spiritual capacities that activate based on your character, which is why you had to pass the test first. The universe doesn't give weapons to people who might misuse them. It only gives power to those who have proven they will not abuse it. Are you still with me? Good, because these three authorizations will change everything about how you operate in the world. Authorization 1. Accelerated wisdom. This is the ability to understand situations, people, and circumstances at a level that bypasses intellectual analysis. You are going to start knowing things you have no logical reason to know. You are going to sense what is happening beneath the surface of conversations. You are going to understand people's true motives without them telling you. Someone will say one thing, but you will feel the opposite. And you will be right. Someone will present an opportunity that looks perfect on paper, but something in your spirit will say no. And later you will discover that opportunity was a trap. Someone will seem trustworthy to everyone around you, but you will sense their deception. And time will prove your discernment correct. This isn't psychic ability. This is discernment elevated to a level where your spirit reads spiritual activity, the way your eyes read physical activity. And it is going to feel so natural that you will not even realize it is supernatural. You will just know things. And later, when you are proven right, you will wonder how you knew. That is how you will recognize this authorization is active. Authorization 2. Unshakable peace. This is not happiness. Happiness depends on circumstances. This is peace that exists regardless of circumstances. You are going to walk through storms and feel calm. You are going to face chaos and remain centered. You are going to encounter situations that would have destroyed the old version of you, and you will simply observe them without being consumed by them. Philippians 4:7 promises this, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds. People will ask you how you stay so peaceful, and you will not have an adequate explanation. Because this peace doesn't come from positive thinking or breathing exercises. It comes from spiritual authority that has been officially granted. Authorization 3. Divine synchronicity. This is when the universe begins orchestrating circumstances in your favor, without you having to force anything. The right people will appear at the right time. The right opportunities will present themselves exactly when you need them. Doors will open that you didn't even know you were supposed to walk through. You will think about someone, and they will call you within hours. You will need specific information, and it will show up in an unexpected conversation. You will require resources, and they will arrive through channels you never considered. You will be in the right place at the right time without planning it. You will meet someone who has exactly what you need. You will receive an invitation that changes everything. This isn't luck. This isn't coincidence. This is heaven rearranging physical reality to align with your assignment. And it happens automatically once you receive this authorization. You will stop striving and start flowing. You will stop chasing and start attracting. You will stop manipulating and start receiving, because the universe itself becomes your assistant. But here is what most people don't understand about these three authorizations. They don't make your life easier. They make you more effective. There is a difference. You are still going to face challenges, but now you will have wisdom to navigate them. You are still going to encounter storms, but now you will have peace to withstand them. You are still going to need provision, but now you will have synchronicity to supply it. The challenges don't decrease. Your capacity increases. That is the nature of spiritual promotion. If you are feeling this shift right now, type "I am ready" in the comments. Let heaven know you are prepared to receive what has already been authorized for you. Now let me tell you about the crown that comes with this commissioning, because authorization is one thing. Recognition is another. When heaven commissions someone, they don't just give them tools. They give them a crown. Not a physical crown that you wear on your head, but a spiritual crown that represents your elevated authority in the unseen realms. And this crown chosen one, is not decorative. It is functional. It carries weight. It grants access. It opens dimensions that were previously closed to you. In ancient times, when a king gave someone a crown, it meant that person now had the authority to act on behalf of the kingdom. They could make decisions, issue commands, allocate resources, not because of their own power, but because they carried the king's authority. That is what your spiritual crown represents. You now carry heaven's authority to act on its behalf in the physical realm. But here is the part most people miss. A crown can be given, but it can also be taken, not easily, not arbitrarily, but it can be removed if the person who wears it betrays the character that qualified them to receive it in the first place. 1 Peter 1:7 explains this. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. Throughout history, there have been chosen ones who received their crown and then lost it. Not because they made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. But because they deliberately, consistently, repeatedly chose compromise over character. They started using their authority for personal gain instead of collective good. They started manipulating instead of serving. They started taking instead of giving. And slowly, quietly, without announcement, their crown was removed. Their authorizations were deactivated. Their access was revoked. This is why the test you passed 3 days ago was so critical. It wasn't just any test. It was the test that proves you can be trusted with a crown. The one where your character is tested when you are too exhausted to perform it. The universe needed to know that even at your worst, even at your weakest, even at your most vulnerable, your default setting is still integrity, and you proved it 3 days ago. So tonight, when you receive these authorizations, heaven knows they are safe with you. Heaven knows you will not abuse them. Heaven knows that even when you are tired, broken, overwhelmed, your automatic response will still be character. Pause for a moment. Let that truth settle into your spirit. You didn't just pass a test, you proved your essence. But here is what you need to understand about maintaining your crown once you receive it. It is not about being perfect. You are still going to make mistakes. You are still going to have bad days. You are still going to fall short sometimes. That is human. What matters is your trajectory. Are you moving toward more integrity or less? More humility or more pride? More service or more selfishness? As long as your trajectory is upward, as long as you are committed to growth, as long as you are willing to acknowledge when you fall short and correct course, your crown remains secure. It is not fragile. It doesn't shatter at the first mistake, but it does respond to deliberate, sustained betrayal of character. So protect it not with perfection, but with commitment, not with flawlessness, but with faithfulness. Before we continue, I need to reveal the deeper reason why you specifically are being commissioned at this exact moment in history. It is not random. It is not just because you completed your personal journey. It is because humanity is entering a season of unprecedented upheaval, and the world needs people who can remain stable while everything shakes. The old systems are collapsing. The institutions people trusted are being exposed. The authorities people relied on are being questioned. And in the middle of that chaos, people are going to be desperately searching for something solid to hold on to. Not information, not theories, not promises, but living proof that it is possible to maintain integrity when everything around you is compromising. Living proof that it is possible to stay peaceful when everything around you is panicking. Living proof that it is possible to love when everything around you is hating. You are that proof, not because you have all the answers, Not because you never struggle. Not because you are perfect. But because your life demonstrates that transformation is real. That character can be forged. That hope can survive hell. Romans 12:2 declares this: "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God." And when people see that in you, when they encounter your peace in their chaos, when they feel your stability in their storm, they are going to want to know your secret. And your secret isn't something you can explain with words. Your secret is something you became through fire, and the only way to teach it is to be it. That is your assignment as a commissioned chosen one, not to save everyone, not to fix everything, not to have answers for all questions, but to be a living testimony that it is possible to go through darkness and come out light. That is enough. That is more than enough. So tonight, at 3:33, when your soul stands before the court of heaven, when those 3 authorizations are granted, receive them with open hands and humble heart. Tomorrow, when you wake up and feel the shift, when you notice the clarity and the peace and the synchronicities, remember they are tools, not trophies. Use them to bless. Use them to build. Use them to love. And watch how the universe responds to someone who carries power, but wields it with humility. That is when miracles become normal. That is when provision becomes consistent. That is when doors open that you didn't even know existed. Your test is over. Your crown is ready. Your commission begins tonight. But before we finish, let me tell you about the practical changes you are going to notice in your daily life. Because spiritual commissioning doesn't just affect your inner world. It affects how you move through the physical world. Change 1. People are going to respond to you differently. Some people are going to be drawn to you without understanding why. They are going to seek your advice, want to be around you, feel safe in your presence. These are people whose spirits recognize the authority you now carry. They might not know why they trust you, but they do. They might not understand why they feel peaceful around you, but they will. But others are going to be repelled by you, also without understanding why. They are going to feel uncomfortable, avoid you, make excuses not to engage. These are people whose dysfunction cannot coexist with your peace. Their chaos cannot survive near your clarity. Their manipulation cannot operate in your presence. Both reactions, the attraction and the repulsion, are confirmation that your commissioning is real. Don't take the repulsion personally, and don't let the attraction inflate your ego. Change 2. Your tolerance for dysfunction is going to decrease dramatically. Conversations that used to drain you for days will now drain you in minutes, and you will simply walk away. Situations that used to confuse you will now be instantly clear, and you will know exactly what needs to happen. Relationships that used to feel complicated will now feel simple. Either they align with your assignment or they don't. This isn't you becoming harsh. This is you becoming focused. There is a difference. Change 3. Your decisions are going to become faster and more accurate. You will not need to overthink anymore. You will not need to make endless pros and cons lists. You will not need to seek everyone's opinion. You will know, and you will act. And you will be right more often than not. Because your accelerated wisdom will be operating automatically. Walk in it with grace. Serve with it in power. Shine with it in darkness. Because that is what chosen ones do. Not because they are better than everyone else, but because they are reliable when most people break. You are that reliable person. And tonight, heaven makes it official. If you recognize that something shifted in you 3 days ago, if you sense that a test was passed, even though you didn't know you were being tested, Type 777 in the comments right now. That number is not magic. It is a marker, a spiritual signpost, a confirmation between you and heaven that you heard this message at exactly the right time. And when other chosen ones see your 777, it confirms their experience too. That is how we recognize each other. Not by what we say, but by what we survived and who we became because of it. And if this message resonated so deeply that you want to make sure you don't miss what comes next, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because what is about to unfold in your life as a newly commissioned chosen one is going to require guidance, confirmation, and encouragement. And this channel exists for exactly that purpose, to help people like you understand the spiritual dynamics of what you are experiencing, so you don't feel crazy and you don't walk alone. One more thing. If while you were listening, someone came to your mind, someone who you know is going through their own final test, someone who is exhausted and broken and operating on autopilot, share this message with them, because they need to know that what they are experiencing isn't random suffering. It is the final exam, and they might be closer to passing than they think. Your share could be the confirmation that helps them endure one more day. And that one more day might be all they need to prove their character and activate their own commissioning. Chosen one, your loneliness wasn't abandonment. It was assessment. Your exhaustion wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Your breaking wasn't destruction. It was transformation. And tonight at 3:33, heaven confirms what you already proved. You are ready. Welcome to your coronation.